Man, we have a hard time pronouncing analysis on this show. Hard time.
And the lasses?
Yeah, we have a hard time with big words on this show.
Oh, the big words, Gina. The big words, Gina.
I have the toughest time, but I listen, we're an equal opportunity show in terms of stumbling over words.
Put it this way. If they expect perfection, no.
No, you're not getting that. You're not getting that here.
No.
You're not getting that here.
You expect great content, passion. You want perfection? Go to the Bible.
Yeah.
Find all the perfection.
I guarantee this. You'll laugh with us and you'll laugh at us.
Yes.
Yeah.
Welcome to my world.
But either way, it's a win for you because you'll be laughing.
Yeah, especially when Canty or Canty is going to do everything like that right now. Sportsman like on ESPN Radio and ESPN2. Getting it done, brought to you by Granger. We bring in Pat Costello to make sure we find out if they can or Canty. Pat Costello, the flow is yours.
Guys, Mike Tomlin says that they have no issues rolling with Mason Rudolph as their starting quarterback heading into this season. Kenny or Canty, can the Steelers start this season with Mason Rudolph as their quarterback?
The lies you tell, Mike Tomlin. They can't start the season with Mason Rudolph as QB1. No shot that that's going to happen. As my man Charles Barkley says, I guarantee that the Pittsburgh Steelers ain't going to start the season with Mason Rudolph as QB1 with the intention of him being the starting quarterback for all 17 games. Now, could he start week 1 and give way to a rookie quarterback that they take in the first couple of rounds? Sure. I think that is more likely the scenario if Mason Rudolph starts a game. But keep this in mind. Mason Rudolph has been in the National Football League for a half decade. Mason Rudolph has only had one season where he started more than 7 games. One. So there's no way that the Pittsburgh Steelers look at Mason Rudolph as a viable option to be their starter for the entirety of the regular season.
It is definitely Canty, but as the agent of chaos that I am, please let this happen. Please let him be the opening day starter because you decided that you wanted to wait for Aaron Rodgers, who may wind up and retire on you if you are the Pittsburgh Steelers. And what if they don't draft a quarterback in the first round or the second round? They could really be in a quarterback quandary waiting for Aaron Rodgers to make a decision. And if he makes the wrong decision for the Steelers, it could be hell on earth for that football team before week 1 of this NFL season.
Yeah, it could be. No doubt.
Canty, you might be public enemy number 1 in Chicago right now.
Not my be.
Why is that, Pat?
Well, you weren't exactly complimentary to Caleb Williams yesterday. You didn't totally. You were a little complimentary, but, Kenny or Canty, can Caleb Williams prove you wrong this year?
Oh, I absolutely think he can prove me wrong, and I fully expect that he will prove me wrong. I look at the Chicago Bears as a playoff team in 2025. The talent with Caleb Williams is undeniable. The things that I have questions about are the intangibles and, quite frankly, the 6 inches between his ears. We saw bad body language last year. There are grumblings around, potentially this guy being a little bit different when it comes to what you would expect from a traditional or conventional quarterback. And here's the thing, different is not always bad, but I will say this, when you had a bad regular season, when you went 5-12 in your first year as a starter, you don't want to be the guy that sticks out. You don't want to be the guy that's that much different, too much of a divergent from what we've seen quarterbacks of the past and present, guys that have had success at that position in this league. Like we talked about the Esquire article with Caleb Williams and him spending, part of the offseason in Copenhagen and all of those things. And all of the things that he's doing, he is entitled to. Being a businessman off the field, spending time with his significant other. You can do all of those things. That's what the offseason is for. I just don't understand why you had to put it on blast in the article with Esquire coming off of the year that you did, because perception will become your reality. And if things don't go well, if your team faces some adversity, especially early on, knowing that you have a first-time head coach, people are going to go back to the things that were outlined in that article and look for reasons to criticize you. You're bringing more criticism on yourself. You're putting more pressure on yourself by doing this article and doing this sit down that was completely unnecessary. It's a self-inflicting wound.
It's definitely a can, but I've always been a big believer in this. If you're a terrible student with a great teacher, you get what you deserve. Caleb Williams has to be a better student than he was for Matt Eberflus. Now, you don't want to trust Matt Eberflus, that's fine. But now you got a guy, Ben Johnson, that knows how to coach offensive football, that knows how to coach quarterbacks and coach them up. He has proven to be a terrific teacher as an offensive coordinator. But if you're a terrible student, If you're Caleb Williams, then everything you said about him is going to come back to haunt him in year 1 with the Chicago Bears. Yeah, he can do it, but you better be a better student in year 2 with a different teacher than you were in year 1 with that teacher.
And I completely agree, co-sign on everything you said, but let me be clear, and I'm going to say it again. I fully expect the Chicago Bears to be a playoff team. I fully expect Caleb Williams to be a difference maker in a positive way in his second season in the National Football League. Those are my expectations of him. Why? Because there are no excuses for him in terms of why he can't have success. You rebuilt the offensive line. You have plenty of skill position players. You have a semblance of a running game. You have a defense. You've got all the elements you need to be successful. There's no reason why Caleb Williams can't be successful. If you want it to be more perfect than it already is, I'm sorry, folks, that's just not the NFL. Next one, Pat.
If you want to hear why Chicago's so mad at Chris Canty, go back on the podcast yesterday and take a listen, hour 2 of the podcast, and you'll hear exactly what he had to say. Hey, scan the QR code. It's up on the screen right now on ESPN. You can go take a listen.
Public Enemies Part 2.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
Kenny or Canty, can a quarterback not named Shedeur Sanders be the second quarterback taken in the draft?
No, he can't. I don't see Jackson Dark or Tyler Shuck, Jalen Milroe superseding Shedeur Sanders as the second quarterback taken in this year's draft. I don't think that's going to happen. The dominant traits that we've seen from Shedeur Sanders, the pocket mobility, the ability to keep your eyes downfield, not the best arm talent. I think those are things that translate to NFL success. We've seen quarterbacks be able to play point guard and be a force multiplier in that regard in terms of elevating the play of those around him. I see Shedeur Sanders through that lens. I think that the dominant traits that we did see at the collegiate level across 2 programs, across different levels of college football, translate to success in the National Football League.
I can definitely see it.
Wow.
Especially if he gets past the Raiders. If the Raiders don't take him at number 6, don't be surprised if the Saints take Jackson Dart at number 9.
Wow.
Don't be surprised. They will try to make a case that Jackson Dart fits what they do better with Kellen Moore as their new head coach than Shedeur Sanders. It's laughable to me, but I could definitely see a scenario like that if Shedeur Sanders is not taken at 3 by the Giants or at 6 by the Raiders, that the Saints will take a Jackson Dart over there and try to make a case.
That's a reach.
It is a reach. Yeah, I'm not disagreeing with that.
When it comes to Jackson Dart,
I'm with you.
The things that he did in college, he ain't gonna do that in the NFL.
I hear that.
He didn't run an NFL offense in college.
I get it. So be it. They'll try to make a case that they believe Jackson Dart is better for the Saints.
Okay.
I could definitely see that as a case.
Okay. All right. Next one, Pat.
Last one. Kenny or Canty?
Chào tất cả mọi người đã quay trở lại với kênh của mình. Ngày hôm nay mình sẽ tiếp tục hướng dẫn các bạn làm vòng. Và hôm nay của mình sẽ có tiêu đề là cài kéo. Mọi người hôm nay tiêu đề mình có là cái bờm. Bây giờ mình bắt đầu làm nhé. Mỏi quá.
Cái bờm. Chứ không phải là cái bà ui. Không là cái bờm.